Okay, today I'm going to make a before and after video of this project boat. This is a 1961 20-foot Chris Craft Sea Skiff, and I just brought it into the shop and it came in for a refinishing job. And I'm going to take you over to the Essentials book and show you what it looks like in that. I'm going to stop the camera so I can get a better shot of this page, okay? Okay, here it is in the Chris Craft's Essentials book. It's a 20-foot open, they call it, Sea Skiff division. And the one I have in the shop here is hull number 27, so that was made in 1961. They made 90 of them that year. 246 over the 2 years, but you could see some of the specs here on it. And the engine options. So there it is. Okay, I thought I'd go over the scope of work on this project. This boat is basically going to be refinished. So the hull sides are going to be sanded down with new paint applied. Most of the bright work, or the varnish work, is going to be stripped down to bare wood and brought back with stain and varnish. You can see that over time in a lot of spots the sun has eaten right through the varnish down to the bare wood. It's lifted from the surface of the wood. The transom's fine. The customer wants me to leave that. I will sand it and put a couple coats of varnish on it. The seat backs are going to be done. That plywood on the bottom is going to be replaced. There's a crack in it. The inside of the gunnel here, that's going to be all stripped down to bare wood. Same with that other side, you see right along there. I'm not doing anything to the inside of the hull, where you can see the steam bent white oak ribs. I'm going to redo the windshield and the tow rails. The king plank is it's a piece of plywood, and that's really the finish is really lifted off of that. And the mount for the bow light. You can see the hull side on the starboard side here. Maybe it got a little bit more sun, but it's really, the paint's really chipping off, and you can see the years of paint buildup on there. So that's all going to be, most of that will be removed. This deck doesn't have any varnish on it. And I'm also, besides refinishing it, I'm also going to be doing some structural repairs, well, to the seats anyway. This seat is just kind of cobbled together. This is a new piece of wood that's bare. There's a big crack along there. I'm going to try to save that, the mahogany. I'm going to try to glue that up and then maybe replace that and just get this thing so it's sound again. A lot of times people will sit on top of here and that maybe just loosens it up over time, but I think I'm going to put a gusset like in here to support it. It might have had one there. There's a witness mark, a lot of them actually, right along here where there might have been some kind of support. I think it's needed. I'm going to put something there. That'll really stiffen that seat back up. And I'm probably going to replace the seat bottoms there with an exterior plywood. It might not be fir plywood, but it'll be an exterior plywood. There's cushions that go on those, but it'll be stained and varnished. Along with that back seat bottom, that's probably the same way I'll do that. I'm painting the hull side, including the waterline, but he didn't want me to do anything to the bottom, so there's no bottom work on this. And I'm also going to, this is a new floor that was installed recently here. I didn't install it, someone did. They did a nice job, but there's no supports on the outboard side, so when you walk along here, there's a lot of flex in it. So I'm going to put some cleats under there to shore that up. And then I'm also going to find he wanted me to find some stainless rub rail to go on this spray rail back here. I think it came up missing a few years back. So basically I'm going to freshen the boat up. New paint and varnish, new stain. I'm not going to do anything to the dashboard, but I will take that piece off there and redo that, take it down to bare wood and stain it and varnish it. And I'm not going to do anything to that forward bulkhead. It might need some varnish over the years, but it's in pretty decent shape. So the customer and I went over what he wanted done this first year on it, and then he'll pick away at it in the future too. So this will be the before video, and the next video you see, the whole side will have fresh paint on it, and all the varnish will be fresh. There'll be at least 7 coats on there. All right? Okay, well here's the finished boat. I just pulled it out of the shop. I've got it on the trailer, and the customer is going to pick it up tomorrow. So I'll just kind of explain what I did to it. First I went through and I worked on the interior. This is original wood, the seat backs. That's a real nice piece of mahogany if you could see the grain in that. So these 2 pieces are original. I replaced the seat bottom with a new piece of it's exterior plywood, and I have a piece of mahogany. Actually, I saved that piece of mahogany from the original one. And this seat back, it gets cushions. There's cushions that go on the bottom and along the back. Same with the forward seats. Now these seat backs, if you remember, were in real bad shape. I was actually able to save this one. I went through and put in some Dutchmen. It was all wore out right here, and it was all cracked and separated, so I glued it all back together and put bungs wherever the screw holes were, put solid wood back in there, and this one came out nice. And I wasn't able to do that with the starboard side. I had to build it out of new wood. I'll take you over there and show you. Here's the aft deck. If you can remember what that looked like in the before picture. And he bought this old swim ladder, and I kind of stripped part of it and just put a couple of coats of varnish on it. It came out pretty nice. And I added these stainless mounts on the transom. So the transom was sanded and varnished. It wasn't stripped. Everything else, all the other woodwork was stripped down to bare wood. If you remember on that before video, there was no varnish on this gunnel over here. But here's the starboard seat back. This is all new mahogany. And then I added, remember those stiffeners on the old one, they were bare wood. And I don't even think it was mahogany. It might have been, but I added some new ones there. And what really strengthened this was adding these corner pieces, these gussets. Now I don't have a screw holding that in. It's not really needed. All the strength is when you lean back on it. And then I went through and put new seat bottoms on there, all new hardware, new silicon bronze screws in it, and it really shored these up. And these are really strong now. The seats, they were really wobbly before. And I went through and stripped all the windshield frame and that king plank. Remember that king plank? It was plywood, and it was all, there's no finish on it, and that's solid wood now. And I stripped and refinished everything else, the tow rails and that mount for the bow light. And I did a lot of work to these windshield frames. These frames, they never fit right, and they didn't seat down inside there right. So a lot of these seams were busted, and there was a lot of places where I had to glue Dutchmen in. I think over on the other frame, but almost every one of these seams at the corner was broken, so I kind of loosened them apart without having to take that glass out, and I was able to tool some epoxy in there and shore them all up, and they came out real nice and solid. And a lot of these, well, all of these screw holes going into the top of this frame, well, they were all stripped out. So I drilled and bunged every one of those, and then when I sanded this down to bare wood, stained it and varnished it, that was all new wood there. And I just set that actually today, and every one of those screws tightened up, and these fit right. They fit down in the channel where they're supposed to. And then I painted the hull side. There was a lot of body work on the hull sides, if you remember what that looked like. Now I used Awl Grip on this, and it flowed out really nice. It's I believe I used oyster white. It's kind of like a cream. It's a real nice color. And I'm real happy with I've used a little bit of Awl Grip here and there, but I've never done a whole boat with it. And I'm really happy with how it flowed out and looks. And then I taped off the water line and put 6 coats of red on that. That red doesn't really cover. And then I ended up taping off the water line and doing the bottom just so it looked nice. So this is ready to go back in the water. And the deck wasn't in the original job, but it was like a stark white compared to the side, so it wouldn't have looked good. So I didn't do much body work to it. You could still see all the old stipple from people rolling paint on there. And I thought, well, if I sand that too hard, it's going to flatten out, and you'll have spots where it's kind of smooth, and then there's ripples. So I didn't do much sanding. I sanded it enough with 320 grit and a scuff pad just to abrade it so the paint would stick. And then I put on the Awl Grip so the color matched. So that's what I did to that deck. And I did the same thing behind on the other side, behind the windshield. I did that area too. And I did that trim piece, but this dashboard wasn't a part of it. Although I am going to put a little bit of stain on that bare wood right there, just so it kind of matches, so it's not so noticeable. But I didn't do anything to the bulkhead or the floor. Although I took the floor out and put supports all along here. I put cleats under there, so it's real nice and sturdy. Here's a shot of the gunnel. So you saw the before video, and here's the after. I'm trying to get a shot of the hull. You really can't. I don't know if you can make out that Awl Grip, how it shines. I'll try to get it from this way. There's the old emblems. He didn't have any of the chrome redone or anything. So that'll do it for the before and after video. The before and after video of the 1961 20-foot Chris Craft Sea Skiff. Alright? Okay, it's the next morning and I want to take one more shot of the boat. I want to try to show the hull off. Last night in that light, you really couldn't tell that gloss on the hull, but I think you'll be able to in this light here. This is that Awl Grip paint, and you can see how it flows out. You can see the reflection. And also I forgot to mention last night that I made these new spray rails for he didn't have them. I know in that first video clip I mentioned that I was gonna make some new ones, and I bent it around here with some heat. So he's gonna be here in about a half hour to pick it up. There's the deck. So there it is. Now that'll do it for the before and after video of the 1961 20-foot Chris Craft Sea Skiff. Alright?